I knew I loved you before I met you.
I think I dreamed you into life.
I knew I loved you before I met you.
I have been waiting all my life.
Ooh. Okie dokie, we're back for a new episode.
We're back.
This is the Unscripted Conversations podcast. You have to go first.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Molly.
Doesn't have to be me first. You
Yeah,
can say
it sounds good when you say first because then
Really?
I go, and I'm Molly.
Okay.
Yeah. And today we're talking about tattoos.
Tattoos.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. We should draw a tattoo on each other right now.
Ooh.
Sharpie.
We should have done that.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Mid-podcast tattoo sesh with a Sharpie.
Yes. Do we
Sport
have
it.
Well, I guess we're kind of like a black and white tattoo people, so
Yeah.
we could just do black.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah.
Glad to be back again and another topic to talk about.
Yeah.
So this
I was just thinking like our first conversation about tattoos. I'm sure I asked you at some point, like when we were first like talking, like, "Oh, do you have a tattoo?" But I don't know.
I think
So like, let's start with this. Like when you were like dating, like did tattoos turn you on or turn you off?
it depended. It depended on what kind of tattoo the person like the girl had, where it was located, and if it was like if there was any meaning behind it. I didn't really date very many people with tattoos actually at all, because some of my past girlfriends were Mormon, so
Bro, that's true. Yeah.
they didn't have any tattoos.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Fair,
no, I think
fair.
it was just like what was it? I think it was just like a flower. So
It's so boring to me.
yeah. But I don't know, what about you? Was tattoo like a turn on, turn off, neutral?
I think too for me it was like what it was, where it was, why. I would agree.
Okay.
But like I remember I did like start talking to this one guy that had a lot of like tattoos, but they were like very colorful too, which like is always kind of like I don't find them very attractive. Like good for you for having them if they mean something, you know, whatever. I just never like feel like, oh, that looks really good, you know.
Yeah.
I mean some of them are, but these were kind of weird. But I was like okay with them. I was kind of indifferent about it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like of a whole sleeve kind of a thing.
Whole sleeve.
Yeah, it was just, but it like didn't really go together either. So it was just like a random tattoos all the way down.
I was always
know.
intimidated by women who had like full sleeves,
Really?
because I always just felt like they were just like hardcore, you know, like they would
Yeah.
beat my butt.
Like almost like biker babes or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like they'd be wearing the pants in the relationship. Not that that was like a bad thing.
No, but-
I always just kind of felt that little dynamic.
yeah. Yeah, I
But-
get that.
I don't know. Like I think, you know, back when I was growing up, I was always raised to like not do anything to your body, like no body
Oh
piercings.
yeah, your body is a temple, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the big thing. I had a nun growing up that was very much like that.
Yeah. And
That taught me in school, sorry.
And I guess you know, I think most people kind of know, like, you know, of my religious background at least, but in the religion I was part of, guys weren't supposed to get tattoos or piercings, or even women.
I was gonna say that would be weird if women
Yeah.
could.
No. Nobody could get tattoos.
Yeah.
And so, and also my parents, different religion, but my mom absolutely despised tattoos.
That's funny.
She's like, don't get a tattoo. Like, don't do that to your body. And so I was like, well, okay, you know, growing up, it's like, okay, like, you don't want me to get a tattoo? Like, I'm not going to get a tattoo. I don't really have a need or a want for one. And then
And then what happened?
And then something happened.
What?
I don't know. I think I was just like, I was at a point in my life when I just wanted to explore different things. And like tattoos was one of them. And it was just like, it kind of built on that, like, I don't want to say rebellion. I think it was more so like, yeah, like exploring my life and
How
exploring.
old were you when you got your first tattoo?
Oh, man. How old was I? I don't even know.
Oh, my.
Like in my 20s. I don't remember. To be honest, I don't remember.
Did your parents know you got it?
No. That's the one on my side,
Yeah.
on my rib cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I purposely got in a place where nobody could see it unless my shirt was off.
And so how long did you like hide it from your parents?
I think
Or
it
did
might
you
have
get
been
away
like probably like a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then what happened when they found out? How did they find out?
I think we were swimming in the pool at my uncle's house. And I'm just like, what is that on it? How long you had that? And I was like, like a year. Like, oh, what is that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty bizarre. But I mean, they didn't really say anything about it because it was hidden, you know? So it
Yeah.
wasn't like showing.
Yeah.
But I remember that experience. I was dying, absolutely dying. Like any tattoos, if anybody who understands like the different body parts and where to get tattoos, the rib cage is probably one of the worst places. I heard the top of the head, top of the foot, and the rib cage is like some of the worst parts. And obviously like very sensitive areas, you know.
I can't imagine getting a tattoo on the top of my head.
Yeah.
Ooh, you should. Ooh.
No, you can't. I'm not tattooing hair on my head. Are you crazy?
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh.
Never mind.
Oh my gosh. What about
Okay.
you? When was the first time you got a tattoo? I guess your only tattoo.
Yeah, my only tattoo. I think I was 18.
Okay.
And me and my mom went and got it together. So I have a saying on my wrist that says, "You are my life," but it says it in Italian. We don't have to go there, okay?
Okay.
He was going to say that, but you're not even Italian. That's another conversation.
Yeah. We'll do a 23andMe. We'll talk about percentages.
You suck. Yeah. Wrist is very painful too. And I told my mom I was going to go first because I knew that if she was like, "Oh my God, it hurts so bad," I would get chicken out. So I went first, and you have to like hold your wrist like really taut. So it's basically like your wrist is being bent back to the back of your forearm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it took like 15 minutes because it's tiny. But I remember like gripping the inside of my thigh because it hurt so bad. And then I was like done. And Mom was like, "How was it?" And I was like, and she was standing there the whole time. So I had to keep a straight face too. And I was like, "Oh, it wasn't so bad." And then like she went and did it. And she was like, "Molly, this hurts like And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry." But I didn't want her chickening it out either.
I don't think, I mean, the first initial, I'd say like 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. I'd probably say like the first couple minutes is like, what the heck? What did I decide to do? And then you look down and you're just like one line out of like a big piece, at least from what I have. And it's like, I got so much more to go. But then you start to tune it out and then adrenaline starts pumping and then you just like forget about the pain. But
yeah, I hope so.
yeah, so I have a few tattoos. I guess a few tattoos. 2 different parts of my body, but I had them done in different sessions.
Yes.
So I got one on my rib cage, and then I have one on my, in phases. Like there's 3 phases on my arm.
Yeah.
So the first phase was like deltoid down to halfway of my arm, my upper arm.
And why'd you do that?
Well, I guess backstory. 2014, I believe it was. Unfortunately, my mom got sick, and I wanted something, and from what the doctors were saying, she didn't have much time to live, and I was in dental school at the time. So I went home to visit, and I had scheduled a tattoo session with a tattoo artist, amazing guy, Mana, fresh native. Look him up on Instagram. I'm going to shout him out because he's the most amazing tattoo artist I've ever met. Very professional, and yet so artistic. I mean, amazing art. So fresh, native, His name is Mana. Look him
We'll
up on
tag it.
Instagram. We'll tag him in the link below. But hit him up and I was like, hey, I want to get a tattoo on my upper arm. So I was born in Hawaii, so a lot of, the influence with my tattoos have that Polynesian art kind of tribal design.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him just key things that I wanted. I wanted something to represent my mom and my sister, and then something to represent my dad, and then my culture as a Filipino. And I had a couple ideas, and he just kind of free-handed a design on my arm. And I trusted him enough because my cousin got tattooed by him, and it looked amazing. So I let him go free bird on my arm, upper arm. So that was the first time my mom got sick. So I wanted something to kind of remember her by, just in the instance as something would have happened to her. I have something on my body that I could always look down on and remember my mom, my sister, and my dad, my family, and my roots. And so this was during dental school. And so in dental school, like showing your tattoo, like, I don't know if they frowned upon tattoos. I'm pretty sure they did frown upon tattoos for the dental students. So I got it purposely to end right where my scrub sleeve, ended on my arm. So then it was hidden from view. And so I got that done. And then after a while I was like, and then, kind of backstory again. Fortunately, my mom, got healthier. She overcame her sickness. And then the next time around, it was while I was, when was that? 2018, maybe? No, 2019, the year before COVID. My mom got sick again. And this time it was worse. It was absolutely worse. And I had scheduled a tattoo session again with Mana. And I told him, I was like, hey, I want to bring my tattoo down to my elbow and along the inside bicep. Just encompass the whole upper arm. So I was like, okay. So I get in there and he adds like a couple more elements of the Hawaiian, like Polynesian art to my arm.
Yep.
Worst experience ever, because the inside elbow and then up along my tricep, absolutely the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then by the time it was done, I started looking back at photos of my first tattoo on my upper arm. I was like, whoa, that did not look complete whatsoever. And then so when I got the second set done to my elbow, I was like, oh yeah, that looks pretty legit now. It's complete. So, and then what was the third phase? The third phase was most recently in November. I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish my sleeve. Like, I'm ready for it, and I don't care what other people think. I'm going to finish my sleeve. So then I got another, rest of my arm done down to like close to my wrist, kind of right where my watch ends. And added like a koi fish, like yin yang kind of design, along with a cherry blossom branch with a couple flowers. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
So how do you think, so your mindset started off as being, I don't want people to see because I get a little bit with school, like you don't want to get in trouble or you don't want to cause problems. You want to look like a stand-up student. So I get that. But like, how did your mind or your viewpoint change being like, you know what, I don't care. And people see it, even in a profession as a dentist. Like,
I think after I got the second phase down to my elbow, and it was obviously visible to every single person I came in contact with, because obviously the scrub sleeve doesn't go down to the elbow.
Right.
And getting compliments about it, I think that's what kind of made me realize, like, oh yeah, like this doesn't matter. Like,
right.
Now I did have some patients who would do like a second look, like, oh, what kind of tattoo is that? But a majority of my patients who did see my tattoo when I first got it complimented on like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Like, that's a really nice tattoo. It wasn't distasteful. Like, the tattoo's nice,
Right. Did you ever have anybody be like, why do you have that?
I have, yeah. And I had some patients, and I don't want to I don't want to be, put them out, but they're primarily older patients, who maybe see that tattoos in a professional environment like a dentist or a doctor should not be shown, because it's not professional.
Yeah.
But I think that taboo is like changed.
Yeah, I was going to say like I feel like, let's say 30 years ago, like before we were born, tattoos, one, weren't as popular. And then two, I think there was a stigma for those who did have tattoos. Like they were the biker people, or they were hard, or, right?
Like punk rockers, or
right? Like I think so.
Yeah. I think there's a fine line though. I don't want to say fine line. No, I take that back. There is a line on what is acceptable and what's not.
Yeah.
Because you also have to think about like what kind of tattoo is it?
Right.
Is it distasteful?
Right.
Is it like a whole bunch of just like derogative things? Obviously, yeah, you don't want to have that showing in a professional setting.
Right.
But I also feel though, as a professional, not only is it my body, but it's also like, I also saw it as a talking piece.
Sure. Yeah.
When a new patient comes in and they see a dentist who they revere as as a professional, but see them with a tattoo, it's like, oh, that's different. Like, I'm going to form my own opinions on this guy. Hopefully not because of what he looks like, but what he does in my mouth, like as far as treatment.
Right.
So I think that's the barriers are breaking as far as professionals and tattoos.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think when I was in nursing school, I don't think we could have tattoos showing.
Really?
Yeah. And like mine was so like minuscule on my wrist, I don't think it really mattered. And I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've had nursing jobs where you couldn't have tattoos showing too.
In your current like job right now as a nurse practitioner, did they say anything? Like, was there a dress code? Like,
No,
there was nothing.
There was nothing, but definitely when I was a nurse, there was. But when I worked as a nurse at Children's, I believe that there was something about it. I don't remember exactly what it was, so I'm not going to really comment, but I feel like it was something where they didn't really want them showing.
Okay.
Something like that. I would have to go back and look. But then when I transitioned to the adult world, there wasn't anything. And I had a couple colleagues who did have like kind of full sleeves, women too.
Yeah.
And they could have them showing in things.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
I think it's definitely a generational thing, and I think as our society gets a little bit more progressive and more accepting of certain kinds of, I don't know, display of art.
Right.
They are professional, and just anybody in general are a little bit more accepting of it.
Yeah, I think the other part of like the dress code too was something about earrings and things. So like having gauges wasn't acceptable, and then you could only have so many, and you couldn't have like a nose ring, certain things too. I think it's kind of crazy that I get looking professional, and so I guess there has to be some way of documenting that, right? To say, because you can't like just be like, oh, I don't think you look professional, but not have some sort of code for it, right?
Absolutely.
So like they have to put a label on it, but like I feel like you should be able to dress the way you want and express yourself the way you want, as long as it's professional.
Absolutely. And
and I think that's changing kind of.
Yeah, and then let's kind of dive into that a little bit, because what is professional nowadays?
Right.
I understand like back in the day, like obviously like you weren't like, let's talk about dental school, for instance. In dental school, girls couldn't wear more than one earring in each ear, no tragus, no upper ear. And a few of my classmates had nose rings or like nose studs, and they were told, I think, by the clinic director to remove them, but most of them kept them in. Tattoos wasn't really, there was nothing really said.
Yeah.
But I think it was understood
right.
that you shouldn't have it showing.
Right.
So I had some classmates who had tattoos like on their forearm, very small, like arrow or something like that. And most of them just kept it open, but never really had any kind of problems. So I think when you think about like what a professional is, they can come in different, looks. Bald, long hair, guys with long hair, guys with long beards, women with short hair, mohawks, maybe like a faux hawk,
Right.
different lifestyles, different kinds of backgrounds. And I think the old reference to what a professional should look like is not what the
Right.
professional looks like nowadays.
I would agree.
So, just as like with anybody or with anything, don't judge a book by its cover. I think you should most certainly, vet a professional based on their references or like, referrals.
Right.
But just because somebody has maybe a little bit bigger of an earring or a different hairstyle or a tattoo or happens to have multiple earrings in doesn't make them any less professional than somebody who's clean cut.
Yeah, I feel like I would, judge is not the right word, but I guess for lack of a better word, judge someone that I'm getting a service from more so if they weren't clean, or they looked unkept versus how many piercings they had in their ear, or, what type of tattoo they had, or even what they were wearing. It would be more the unkept part of it that I'd be like, ooh, how is this service going to be for me if you can't even keep yourself
yeah, that's fair.
Well put together. I think that's the
Absolutely.
only time that I would be a little bit more reserved about, getting
you're
a service from somebody.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
And I think, since we're talking about tattoos,
Yeah.
I think you're going to see more and more professionals expose their tattoos, specifically like maybe some on their hand, their arms or
So I think you'll see more full sleeves because I feel like that's a big thing right now.
yeah. And I
You followed the the
the
what is it?
trajectory of tattoos.
Oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you followed the popular thing going on right now, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, whatever.
So yeah, I think I think just in my experience, I don't have very many patients tell me or judge me otherwise because I have tattoos.
Yeah, I remember when you got the rest of your sleeve, you were a little bit nervous to show it.
Yeah. Only because, out of respect for my employer, I didn't know how he felt about it. Mm-hmm. But apparently he knew that I had it done.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was
from
my
Instagram.
my Instagram. But he hasn't said anything, and I'm sure he, if it was a problem, he would have told me about it, and he hasn't. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But just like with anything, it's just starts a conversation.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I feel like a lot of people, it's a good conversation starter, actually.
Yeah.
It's and it's a good way for me to talk to my patients as well, because then we start to, get to know each other. So
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you have multiple tattoos that have, filled out your whole arm that mean certain things to you. What, are you done?
I'm not done.
Okay.
I think I'm going to fill out the rest
I know
of
you have to
arm.
you have some finishing touches for the rest of it to make it look, more cohesive.
Yeah.
But then what?
I don't know. I guess we'll see. I've so one of my friends, my best friend's son, they refer to me as Maui, from Moana.
Yeah.
Or like The Rock.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think it'd only be fitting if down the road I get a tattoo onto my chest.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you like your whole upper body because that's what Maui is. And I was like, whoa.
No, like The Rock. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yes.
I just need to bring the tattoo onto my chest.
Okay.
And then that'll probably be it.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe.
Do you think that'll
be
hurt?
it. Not as worse as like my elbow. I think that was the worst. Absolute worst. Tricep and elbow. That was absolute worst.
I wonder if you bulked before getting the tattoo so there's a little bit more cushion there. Would that be better?
Oh, maybe. I
You
don't
know what I mean?
No, I think it doesn't hurt as much if there's fat there.
That's what I mean. So like bulk meaning like
Get fat.
like get a little chunky in your upper
Just
chest area.
Get a tattoo on my man boob.
Yes.
And then cut after
And then cut
that.
it, yeah.
No, because then the tattoo will shrink or stretch. Oh my gosh. No, so I guess talking about tattoos, there's a lot of competitions on TV, and one of my favorite competition shows is not a singing show. It's not a cooking show. It's actually a tattoo competition show called Ink Masters. And there's been multiple times when I've watched some of these episodes and I'm like, I want to get a tattoo from that guy. I want to get a tattoo from that girl.
Really?
Oh my gosh, some of the artwork that these guys do. There's one season, the guy, DJ Tambi, who's in Las Vegas, has won multiple Ink Master seasons. Oh my gosh, amazing work. Amazing work. But I'm pretty sure they charge up a wazoo because they're so popular now.
Right. And can you ever get into them?
Yeah.
I mean,
probably
Mana's hard
not.
enough to get into.
Yeah, for sure. There's Ink Masters. There's a show called, what is it, How Far? What's it called? How Far is Tattoo Far?
Yes.
So the premise of this show...
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, so I think it's on MTV2. But anyways, it's two people, usually friends or couples. They go on the show and they can choose... They agree to have the other person choose a tattoo and have it tattooed on their body, but they are blindfolded, so they can't see it until the final reveal.
Okay. Did you ever play that game when you were a kid where someone draws a picture on your back with their hand and you had to guess what they were drawing?
Yeah.
I wonder if they try to do that as they're trying to tattoo.
Maybe. I don't know. Trying to guess what they're doing.
Yes.
I don't know. Once you get tattooed though, it's just pain.
Right.
It's
That's
just
what I was gonna say. Is it hurts so
is.
bad, right? And
Yeah.
they're just kind of probably all over the place. But
yeah.
that'd be
So
funny.
on that premise, would you allow me to choose a tattoo and you have it tattooed on yourself without seeing it beforehand?
And you pick the location.
And I
too.
picked the location too.
Yeah, I would because I trust you.
Yeah, I would do too.
Yeah.
That would be the craziest thing.
We should do it one day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. I do have one stipulation though.
Okay.
No elbow. No elbow. And now on the top of my head. I know you so bad you want me to tattoo a hairline on my head.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that because some of the worst tattoos I've seen had God, when you work in the ED and you get people naked because they're in a trauma, you see things that they thought no one would ever see.
Oh my gosh.
Not good.
Is this X-rated? You can't share it?
I wouldn't say the location, but I mean, you can just imagine someone who is constantly high or drunk and just going into a tattoo parlor and being like, here you go.
Have at it.
Yes. Yes. I mean,
Oh my
literally.
gosh.
And so explicit body parts,
Ah.
multiple of them.
Okay.
Why?
Male or female? Male.
Yes.
Male
yeah.
body parts on a male.
On a male person. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And
I haven't
not,
seen that before.
And not good looking ones, let me
yeah,
tell you.
bet.
It was like a child drew them. It was
Oh man.
Yeah,
no.
and I also don't get the other way around, pinup girls that don't have clothes. I don't for me that tattoo would be why? I just don't get it.
Yeah, some people like those pinups. The pinup.
Yes. And sometimes they can look really nice. I will say that,
Yeah.
and when a really good professional does them, yes. But for me, I just why would I want a half naked person on my body?
Yeah.
Even if I knew the person, I don't if I wanted your face or your body, your a picture of you as a tattoo, I wouldn't choose it to be a half naked one of you.
Yeah. Now
but that's again my choice. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know the history of tattoos very well, But
No.
the pinup is a classic tattoo.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
that most people got because it was a traditional
especially
tattoo
like men
in the military.
Yes.
I've seen so many military men with a pinup on them.
That's a good point. Yes.
Yeah. So I think it might have been
a good point.
It's very historic and very traditional. But yeah, I mean, I think it's evolved more towards different things now. That's the pinup is not. It's like the. I don't want to. Like I said, I'm not professional with tattoo history.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to look into.
But I know the pinup is one of the major like first tattoos, and most, if not all, tattoo artists should know how to do a pinup.
Yeah.
So it's almost like
the basic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
I don't really get the Grim Reaper one either, or like
I think
skulls. That's just not me. That's not what I would want, you know. And some of them do look very cool, or like the Cinco. Nope. Day of the Dead. Is that Cinco de Mayo? Yes.
No. Cinco de Mayo? No, Dia de los Muertos.
Thank you. I don't know where I was.
Cinco de Mayo is party,
it's late,
baby.
Man. It's late.
It's party, baby.
Like those, like the sugar skulls are really pretty, you know.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want a skull on my body.
Yeah, I think it's just all personal preference.
Absolutely.
You know, like what you
But that's
want.
also why we're talking about it, because I wouldn't go to a person because they have a skull on their arm or whatever. You know, it's a way of them representing themselves. Maybe it's about their culture in that sense, you know, too. And sometimes they are very pretty. It's just not what I would want.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see a skull on my body every day. It's just not my personal preference.
But would that make you hesitant to go see them?
No.
Yeah.
No, I really don't think so. I actually think I would ask him about it more than anything.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it opens up a conversation then.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. I think I think we need to dispel the taboo around professionals with tattoos.
Absolutely.
Because I think you're going to see it more and more nowadays.
Yeah, and like, who cares? I don't know. Like,
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Like you said, as long as there's a professionalism to it of some sort.
Yeah.
You know,
if the tattoo doesn't bring the attention to the doctor itself and it doesn't distract from their service,
right,
I think it should not matter.
Right.
So
maybe if it's an explicit body part of that's not very pretty.
If it was like that,
bit more.
And it was out in the open, yeah. But I'm pretty sure that professional would understand, like, hey, this is not right.
What's the worst tattoo you've ever seen?
Worst tattoo?
Yeah.
Or the most explicit tattoo?
Either or both.
I don't know if I can share.
Oh,
It's kind of dirty.
Oh, okay.
But let's just say I saw a guy with a tattoo on around his armpit.
His armpit or his
armpit.
Oh, okay.
And let's just say like 2 appendages were coming out of the armpit to make it look like something. Spreading. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna get canceled. Just something I saw. I'm gonna keep it a little bit like child friendly. But yeah, that's probably one of the weirdest tattoos I've ever seen. In person. I
do remember when I was younger, I was walking into a hospital with my mom to go visit my grandma, and this guy had like a pot leaf on his forehead.
Oh, nice. That face tattoos are actually coming in. Not that I would say I would get one, but I mean, you look at rappers like Post Malone. I mean, his whole face is tattooed.
I can't even imagine sitting through that. Like, and I think that's where maybe my professionalism line would kind of be crossed. Like, I don't know that I could walk into a dentist or a doctor's office and take the doctor seriously enough if they had a face full of tattoos.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. And I think I would even maybe even on the neck. It would be something I would have to get used to.
Yeah. Now the whole neck thing though, I don't think, I mean, yeah, like if it's like whole full frontal, I've seen some pretty tasteful like tattoos here behind the ear.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. That doesn't like turn me off or make me question or make me go, ooh, you know. Yeah. Yes, no, that's okay. It's just like this like whole frontal thing. Did you see those? These were old shows, but like where they get the tattoos of their whole body and like it was like turn them into like animals. So like one was like a leopard guy, I remember, or like
maybe not. I've seen one.
I would have to look it up, but there was like some show about it. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen the lizard man. Well,
Maybe
not
it was
in
something like
person,
that.
but he
Yeah.
tattooed his whole body into like scales.
Yes,
like a
I think it was
lizard.
that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
He wore contacts to make his eyes look like lizards, and then I think he split his tongue too.
Yes, it was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is.
And crazy because I can't imagine like sitting through all of that.
Yeah. Well, speaking about sitting, what does a tattoo feel for those people who have never gotten a tattoo?
So mine has been 12 years ago. Almost 14 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's in a very, very distant memory. I mean, I don't know that I could describe it very well. So I'll hand that to you.
So I think, what's the best way to explain it? So my whole left arm is tattooed, and depending on what part of the arm, really kind of is different as far as pain. And I would say I'm kind of medium as far as pain tolerance, but
Okay. We'll go medium.
I go medium. Maybe like a low medium.
We'll go low medium. You can't
pain
even.
tolerance.
Okay, yeah, we won't go into that.
Hey, you know what though? I sat through. I think collectively on my arm. Let's see. This was for an hour on my ribs. 4, 5, and then 5 hours was this last one. So 4, 5, and 1. What is that? 14 hours. I've sat for 14 hours on my arm and my rib. Total. And it's not that bad. Well, okay, the first 5 minutes, terrible. But then after that, you're going to get over it, except for some of those key areas. So to liken it, just imagine, have somebody pinch the back of your elbow, like right above your elbow on your tricep, that little like very tender piece of skin. Just pinch that real quick and then keep pinching that. That's exactly what it feels like. Just like jabbing, just sharp pain.
That doesn't hurt me.
Oh, let me.
Oh, up higher.
Up higher.
Okay,
up above
yeah.
your elbow onto your tricep. That little tender skin back there. Pinch that. And then keep pinching that.
Yeah, remind me never
for
to get
4 hours.
Ow! Remind me not to get a tattoo back there.
It's painful.
Owie.
Absolutely painful. But different parts of your body are different. So like the deltoid, it's not It's not that painful. But then that's painful. The forearm's not really that painful. So it just depends. Just look it up. Look up at what kind of tattoo you have or you want. And then decide what part of your body, and then look if it's like red on like a tattoo pain scale. Don't get it there because it really will be painful.
The foot was a huge one for a while. Like
foot, the top of the foot.
Yep,
top of the foot. I have some classmates who have tattoos on their foot or their ankle. Mm-hmm. Some of them got them during dental school too.
I heard that the ones on the top of the foot like rub off like
really easily.
Yeah.
Really?
Because your shoe's always rubbing on it.
Oh, that's a weird tattoo I've seen. Somebody came in to my office, had a tattoo on the inside lip. I forgot what it said, but it was a word on the inside lower lip. That was pretty bizarre. Yeah. And I asked the patient, I was like, hey, so like what made you want to get that? And I was like, I don't know. I just decided to get it randomly. And I'm like, okay. Like, and being a dentist and you're just like, holy crap, like, I hope that thing doesn't get infected,
Right.
Soft tissue in the mouth. Ugh. Yeah. So, yeah, kind of bizarre. I remember that was probably one of the weirdest tattoos I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is super weird.
So, well, I'm not done getting tattoos. I still got to finish off my forearm, and then maybe down the road get something on my chest and finish that off.
I think
that would probably be the last, to be honest with you. I don't think I'd probably get anything else aside from that. Just maybe the chest. Maybe the chest would be the last.
Yeah.
But what about you?
Yeah, I want to get, I think, one on the forearm still. it would be a representation of like my grandparents and things that are important to me.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll finish a whole sleeve after that. And then you'll be
You'll
like,
get a whole sleeve.
and then you'll be like, damn, my wife's a bad beep. And then everyone will be like, and then, yep, exactly. And then everyone will be like, wow, she wears the pants in the family. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, not at all.
You know, it was, I think, you know, this is such a random like conversation about tattoos, but I think the main things that we wanted to kind of touch on, I guess, is that don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes.
You know, art is art, and art is represented in many different shapes and forms, and what somebody sees as art, you know, and displayed on their body as a tattoo and has meaning to them. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a backstory that you shouldn't judge just by seeing something,
right?
You know, without inquiring what it means. And I don't, you know, I have patients who ask me, oh, what does your tattoo mean? And I'm proud to share what my tattoo means because it has meaning.
Right.
I am very tasteful in what I want to put on my body. That's permanent. Actually not really permanent because you can get it lasered off, but permanent in the sense of like, you can't just wipe off, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm proud of what I have because it tells a story. And you know, if I have that conversation with patients and be like, oh, hey, like, what's your tattoo mean? I'm proud to say, oh, it's about my family. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, if you get a tattoo about your grandparents, like, oh, what does that mean? It's like, oh, it helps me remind me of my grandma because of this, or my grandpa because of this, you know. So not only does it jog and just keep memories alive because you see it, it's also, like I said, a good conversation starter.
Absolutely.
And especially as us as professionals, you know, we are seeing people day in and day out.
Right.
And it's another form of expression of who you are.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about sneakers a couple weeks ago, like a form of expression, a form of art on your feet. Tattoos is like a form of art and expression on your body that's permanent. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I think,
cool.
you know, if you see a professional with a tattoo, don't judge them. You know,
give them a chance first.
Give them a chance. Ask them, you know, what their tattoo means. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
Yeah. Catch my drip though. What do you got on right now? Well, you don't got anything
Nothing
on
special
right
now. I mean, yes, I do. I have paints on, people.
I got this pigeon like hat from Staple. So Jeff Staple, one of the greatest like designers in sneaker culture. This is his hat.
Okay, speaking of sneakers, we forgot to shout out my mom.
Oh yeah,
Mama Kathy.
Kathy.
Because when we won that raffle
for the lobsters,
she did drive you there, but she also provided the cash for the raffle tickets because we didn't know we needed cash.
Yeah, because the skateboard shop didn't accept card.
Yeah,
or else I would have bought a buttload of raffle tickets.
Yes, but you didn't need them because we won on just I think it was like $20 or something.
Yeah. So shout out to Mom.
She was pretty upset we didn't shout her out. Oops.
Shout out to Mom for the $20 because the $20 turned into my grail of an orange lobster shoe. So yeah,
good segue. Yeah. Should we do a question?
Yeah, we didn't do a question because we didn't do it in the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, because he told me to start the podcast this time, and clearly I screwed it up, so I shouldn't be the one to start the podcast. Oh, we already did that one.
Pull one from the middle.
Okay. Working on it. Pulling a card from the middle of the stack. They're stuck together. Okay. How would you describe or label your style? This is dumb. We talk about this all the time.
I know.
Sneaker. Pigeon.
Yeah, go listen to the sneaker podcast.
Ooh, what is the creepiest thing that a stranger has ever said to you?
Creepiest thing a stranger has ever said to me?
Yes.
I don't know.
I've had numerous people when I worked in the ED hit on me as they were like sick, and so I would say that was like the creepiest. Like they'd be like, oh, I remember, I don't know if this is the creepiest I would say, but I remember I was in working as a nurse and this guy brought his daughter in, or child, and we always had to have them sign the like after visit summary, like saying that I explained like, you know, their follow-ups and whatever with them, and he wrote his number on it and like kind of kept just saying kind of weird stuff and like literally like wrote his number on it. I was like, okay, yeah, here you go. And I was like, bye, see you later, have a good night, hope everything's good. And I like had to like dab out of there.
Bye.
Yeah, it was so weird.
That's so
it was
weird.
so weird. But yeah, oh yeah, multiple people being like, oh, you're so pretty.
That's the creepiest thing somebody
I
said?
mean, like I block them out of my mind. You know, it's not always the most PG. It's just kind of weird.
I would probably do that to you. It's like, hey, what's so gorgeous?
Oh my god!
Oh, wink at you too like this. Wink.
Is that how you wink?
Wink.
He winks with two eyes, guys. It's called a blink.
Oh my gosh! Did you just come up with that? This girl's laughing at her own jokes. Oh my god!
That's so funny. Do you want to do part 2 of this question?
Yeah, it was part 2.
Have you ever ghosted or stood someone up?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you did.
I ain't gonna shy away from that.
Always.
I've ghosted people.
I have too. I can't even say that. I think when you date online, it's hard not to sometimes.
Yeah, I think the creepiest thing a stranger's ever said to me was, "What size is your shoe?" Yeah.
Did they want to know something else?
I come to find out they had a foot fetish, and they wanted to know my shoe size. Yeah,
Really?
That's a story for a different day.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Kinda
OnlyFan.
crazy. Huh?
He's an OnlyFan.
I know. Need to make an OnlyFans for my feet, apparently.
That's so gross.
Because people like feet. I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Yes, not my thing.
And not my thing. But if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Anytime I had to take socks off in the emergency department as a nurse, took everything. I could deal with boogers. I could deal with blood, anything else. But it comes to the feet, and when you pull off those socks and all the...
But you know what, though?
Skin cells.
But you know what, though? Like, podiatrists and just people who work with feet, damn, do they make a lot of money.
Yeah, they do.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
They make tons of money.
Tons of money.
My side story, my co-resident in Colorado, we went to a Parade of Homes tour down in Colorado Springs, and we were walking around this one house. It was an amazing house, like huge. I could tell they were Mormon too because they had a couple pictures of Jesus Christ in their house that I knew were only painted by a Mormon artist. So I knew they were Mormon. We go up to the listing agent and we're like, hey, can you tell us what this family, like what they do for a living? And then she's like, I can't disclose that. And I was like, well, we're dentists. So is this guy like a professional? Is he a doctor? And then the other one of the listing agents was like, well, it's like, I can't say anything. I was like, come on. And then we were the only ones around them. So I was like, come on. Like if I ask questions, can you answer? It's like, oh yeah, I can. I'll do that. So then I was like, he's a doctor. And then she's like, yep. And I was like, surgeon? And I was like, yeah, I guess you can say that. And it's like, upper part of the body? And then she's like, no. It's like lower part of the body? And she was like, yep. And then I was like lower, and I was like trying to think to myself, I was like, what the frick is lower body, you know? So I'm thinking like OBGYN.
Oh yeah.
But not what the first thing that came to mind. I was like, foot doctor. And then she was silent. And I was like, oh my gosh. This house was like absolutely gorgeous, amazing house, a multi-million-dollar house by far.
All those diabetic patients he's seeing
To
to cut his toenails.
That for sure, and also because he's paying his tithing.
Yeah. Oh, and we should
blessings from heaven, baby.
That should be one of our podcast things. Is my mom used to work for Medicare fraud, and so the amount of fraud in podiatry.
Really?
Oh yeah, because they'd be saying that they were seeing like all these people that the hours they were spending seeing these people didn't add up to 24 hours in a day. It was like
Oh, wow.
30,
Yeah,
36. Yeah.
Maybe they were doubling it, They were working like multiple patients within the hour.
Yeah, traveling to their houses.
Oh, okay.
Even better, right?
Fraud!
Yes. Yeah,
Fraud.
crazy.
Anyways, so yeah.
Yeah.
Foot doctors.
Make
a lot of money. Make bank.
Nope.
Not my thing.
I could not do it.
If you have a fetish for feet, I'm a size 9, by the way. Hit me up on OnlyFans if you want.
I'm a size 8, 7Y in big kid shoes and size 6.5 in men's, just in case you want to send me a present.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you listen to our past podcasts, I really do appreciate presents.
Yeah. Last on the love language list.
I'm learning to really like them because you thought of me. So
yeah. Well, guys, this was a very random conversation, but a good conversation to have about tattoos. If you are thinking of getting one,
run it by us first. We'll give you a good recommendation. I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, my advice would be, are you ready to have something on your body for the rest of your life? 1. 2, are you willing to take on the responsibility of having that tattoo on your body? So answering questions on what people will say or ask.
And defending yourself for it a little bit too.
Yeah.
I think in some situations.
And in most instances, I will say, yes, go get a tattoo, because if it means that much to you to have something on your body that represents something, or even just something fun you want to have on your body, I say go for it. It's your body. Do what you want with it. No one's here to tell you that you shouldn't. Does it hurt? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie to you. It does hurt.
Yeah, really just pinch that back part of your arm because ow.
Yeah. It hurts, but no pain, no gain. And the results after getting the tattoo is even more worth it. Don't judge by a book by its cover. So if you see a professional with a tattoo, don't just say, oh, this guy has a tattoo, he must not be good. Vet him, ask questions. I'm sure that his skills aren't reflected in the tattoo or art that he has on his body, or her body for that matter. And I think we need to start dispelling some of this taboo around certain things like piercings and tattoos and the way somebody dress or whatever. We're in a different world now. Everybody has their own opinions, obviously, and these are ours. But art is art, and we fully support somebody's artistic side and how they want to represent that. So, yeah. Any last parting words, babe?
No. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Shout out to Mom again for helping us win them orange lobsters. And speaking about orange lobsters, we got freaking sneakers right there.
Yeah. we got more.
Alrighty, guys. Let us know what you think. Let me, send us your thoughts on tattoos. Like, what do you think about them? If you disagree with us, that's okay. Let's have a conversation about it. Tell me why you disagree with it. Or kind of share some experiences that you may have with tattoos and what you've seen. We'd be interested in hearing your stories. So leave a comment in the section below. Follow us on our socials as usual. We're going to be here again next week. What are we talking about? Don't know yet?
Nope.
It'll come up.
It will.
Yeah, because this is unscripted.
Right.
As much as it can be.
Yes.
Alrighty, guys. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. We're there with you. This is the Unscripted Conversations podcast. My name is Jay.
And I'm Molly.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.